the Indiana Fever fan reaction because we, believe it or not, and I understand to my knowledge, hell has not froze over, but we actually signed a big. Now it's a 4, not a 5. All right, but we signed somebody that's over 5'8". I mean, are we sure? What's going on here? Did hell freeze over? Kimbrough, out the door. Enter in Oregon alum, Michigan State alum, Grace Van Sluten. And
the Portland Fire just pulled the plug on their own reputation before even playing their first game. Supporters are being shut out without any justification, and Stephanie White is reportedly in disbelief as this new expansion team starts blocking people who haven't even visited their page yet. It's a strategy that breaks every foundational rule of sports marketing. The message here is incredibly blunt. If you follow the wrong athlete or voice a different opinion, you aren't wanted. This isn't some minor tech glitch or a simple mistake by the social media manager. It is a deliberate move against the very audience currently driving the growth of this league. The consequences are already piling up, burying the front office before they even have a roster.
Are you done now? Because I'm fine if you want to go ahead and waive Demarius Dantis, do it. Well, let's do that. And I can tell you right now, 6'3", and by the way, I actually love this move. Oh my God. The Fever did something I actually love. I love this move, but you are not done. You are not done. This is not the final move you're looking for. But with this front office, who knows? Who knows?
Think about being a brand new franchise and deciding your first major move is to alienate the biggest fan base women's basketball has ever seen. That is the bizarre reality currently unfolding with the Portland Fire. Reports are surfacing that followers of Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are waking up to find themselves blocked by the expansion team, despite never interacting with their account. It appears to be a proactive, aggressive wave of censorship that has the entire basketball world completely confused. Why would a team that needs to sell every seat and build every bit of momentum start banning the most active fans in the game? It is a level of gatekeeping that is simply unprecedented in professional sports.
You know, this is what the Fever's done to themselves. When it seems like you're in bed with a certain university and a certain coach, people are going to be smartasses to you. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. People don't trust this front office and this coaching staff. Is what it is. They deserve it, every bit of it. Farkas cast. Yeah, we'll get to you in a minute, bud.
The most unsettling part of this situation is the total silence and lack of clarity from the Portland leadership. When you block a fan, you are essentially telling them that their financial support and their perspective don't matter. But doing it to individuals who haven't even engaged with your content suggests there is a specific blacklist being circulated behind the scenes. Stephanie White and other prominent figures in the sport are watching this and wondering how the league can grow if new teams behave like exclusive, private clubs. This isn't the way to establish a brand. It's how you build a barrier. Shunning the Clark Effect fans is a direct insult to the game's expansion, and the team's refusal to comment is telling.
I knew it. So Passat, really not game ready. Bummer. Well, Passat, she's still a 4. I believe she's 6'4". Interesting. You got a point. But we absolutely needed this body. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I support this improvement over bench. Okay, now wave Dantas. She's bloody useless. Dantas catching some strays. Actually, not a problem with that.
Is the Portland Fire social media department actually checking the follower lists of other teams and preemptively clicking the block button? That is the question hundreds of fans are asking after finding themselves locked out for no reason. This is an embarrassing look for a league that consistently promotes themes of inclusion and growth. When you have fans like Azure Octopus reporting they were banned despite never having a single interaction with the Portland page, it's clear something is seriously wrong. It paints a picture of an admin sitting there, scanning through Caitlin Clark's mentions and removing anyone who seems too vocal. It's a level of organizational insecurity that makes the entire franchise look like a joke.
Yeah, why is she called Snow White? Clowns in the front office conceded to the fan base when they saw the game attendance shrinking by the day. Y'all still need to be fired, by the way. Right there. I mean, people have literally added Amber Cox, Kelly Crosskoff in here with Stephanie White into the graphic. Interesting. The Fever call us complainers, but they end up doing exactly what we said because we were right all along. Oh, yeah. I mean, we were.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert needs to address this situation immediately. You cannot allow a brand new team to act like a digital bouncer against the people who are essentially paying the bills. This league spent years begging for this level of mainstream attention, and now that they have it, they seem intimidated by the very fans who brought it. The Portland Fire admin must be held responsible for this strange behavior. If you can't handle the intensity of passionate or critical sports fans, you probably shouldn't be managing a professional franchise in 2024. This is the big leagues now, and that requires having thick skin and dealing with the reality of a massive vocal audience.
I mean, scary tall. Speaking of scary, what the hell's going on here, Portland Fire? Expansion Team Deluxe. What is going on? I stumbled across Farkas Cast, and for all the grief that he throws towards the Indiana Fever front office, and frankly, he's a good follow. The Portland Fire is randomly blocking fans. Fans that...
We are starting to see a pattern where anyone supporting the Indiana Fever or Caitlin Clark is treated like an outsider by other organizations. They are being dismissed as troublemakers just because they want the game played at a higher standard or because they call out poor coaching and management. But the truth is, sports fans are naturally critical and loud, and sometimes they're blunt. That is exactly what you see in the NFL, the NBA, and Major League Baseball. If this league wants to be viewed alongside the major men's sports, they have to stop acting like they are immune to criticism. Randomly blocking fans is the ultimate sign of a fragile organization that isn't ready for the spotlight.
Is the Portland Fire social media team actually monitoring fans of other teams and proactively blocking them on social media? Boy, that is a horrible look. This is exactly the reason why people think you're a joke. By the way, Azure Octopus, I got blocked by them too, but I've never posted on their page. That's the reason I made this video. Because I saw, now we got two.
While Portland is busy burning bridges, the Indiana Fever are finally making the moves their fans have been requesting for months. The signing of Grace Van Sluten is a major move that caught many by surprise. Standing at 6'3", she is a forward who provides the size and presence in the paint that this team has desperately needed. It's as if the front office finally realized they couldn't keep starting a lineup of small guards and expect to keep up with the league's elite teams. Fans are jokingly asking if the impossible finally happened. For the first time in a while, the Fever made a decision that looks logical, even if the fans remain skeptical of the leadership.
Fans, because you don't like what they got to say. Can anybody in this league handle criticism and put their big girl panties on? Question mark? Anybody. By the way, y'all making real money now. Yeah, y'all wanted it. You got it. We're going to treat you like we would treat NFL players, college players, NBA players, MLB players. This is where you're at. Your league has finally got some attention. You know what sports fans are? They can be highly critical.
Grace Van Sluten is more than just height. She's a real talent who averaged nearly 15 points per game during her college career. She possesses the defensive instincts and rebounding skills this team has lacked since the opening tip-off of the season. However, even with this positive move, supporters aren't letting management off the hook. There is a deep lack of trust in Amber Cox and Kelly Krauskopf that one player won't suddenly fix. Fans have been right all along about the lack of length on this roster, and the fact that it took this long to fix is a reminder of the struggles that have defined Indiana for years. They are finally listening, but it might be a case of too little, too late. The tension between the staff and the fan base is at a breaking point. Some are even using the nickname Snow White for Stephanie White, mocking her for being too closely tied to specific university circles and coaching networks. The feeling is that the league operates like a good old girls' club, where roles are handed out based on who you know rather than your track record. When you see expansion teams blocking people and the Fever ignoring obvious roster holes for months, it's easy to see why trust has vanished. Fans aren't just being difficult. They are smart, observant, and tired of being told they don't understand the game by people who are failing to produce results. The difference between the Fever and a team like the New York Liberty is massive. The Liberty are incredibly tall and have the reach to dismantle almost any strategy. For a long time, the Fever ignored this, trying to play a style their players weren't built for. Now, with Van Sluten, they are finally admitting their mistake. It is a win for the fans who have been vocal about the need for size. But one signing doesn't fix a struggling culture. The front office still needs a complete reset if this team is ever going to reach its peak. What is happening in Portland serves as a warning for the entire league. If expansion teams are allowed to silence their audience and push away the most engaged fans, the league's potential will be capped very quickly. You cannot grow a sport by running away from the people watching it. Stephanie White's surprise is shared by anyone who understands the business side of sports. You want the noise and the passion that Caitlin Clark fans bring, because they are the ones buying jerseys and watching every single game. To dismiss them without a word is an act of arrogance that will eventually sink that franchise. The Portland Fire admin needs to realize they aren't just running a social media account. They are guarding a multi-million-dollar investment. By blocking innocent fans, they are creating a toxic environment before the team even hits the floor. It makes the organization look weak and petty. If a fan says something you dislike, you either ignore it or win games to prove them wrong. You don't hit the block button like a teenager with hurt feelings. This is professional sports, and the Portland Fire are currently acting like beginners. It's an embarrassment to the WNBA. Some wonder if there is a deeper reason for these blocks, speculating that the team is trying to curate a specific vibe that excludes the new wave of basketball fans. This is a dangerous path. This new wave is exactly what is driving record ratings and sellout crowds. If you try to shut them out to maintain some elitist status quo, you will end up playing in front of empty chairs. The league is at a crossroads, and how they treat Fever and Clark fans will determine their future. Right now, Portland is heading in a bad direction. Stephanie White is in a tough position because she is part of a system that seems to be fighting against its own success. She knows you need that fan energy to win. Seeing a new team reject that energy is enough to shock anyone. It shows a complete lack of leadership at the top. If the Fire want to be respected, they need to apologize and unblock those fans. They need to prove they are ready for the big stage, not hiding behind a block list. Fever fans aren't going anywhere. They are some of the most loyal and knowledgeable people in the game, and they see right through the excuses. Whether it's Portland blocking them or Indiana making late roster moves, these fans will keep speaking up. They were right about the size, they were right about the coaching, and they are right about the bizarre behavior in Portland. You can try to quiet them, but you're only making them more determined to see real progress. Grace Van Sluten is a good start, but it's just the beginning. The Fever still need more size, more speed, and a coach who knows how to use a talent like Caitlin Clark. Fans are tired of the same errors and the excuses from management. They are definitely tired of being treated like the enemy by a league that should be grateful for them. The clowns in the front office narrative will stick until there is a real change in who is making the calls. Portland's actions reflect a league struggling to manage its own success. They want the money from new fans, but they don't want the accountability. They want the fame, but they don't want the scrutiny. It doesn't work like that. When you attract real money and attention, you have to answer to the public. If the Portland Fire can't handle a few comments or opposing fans, They are in for a shock once the season begins. We are seeing a shift in power. Fans are active participants now. When a team like Portland tries to stop that, they are losing the battle. You can block accounts, but you can't block the truth. The league is changing, and the old ways of gatekeeping and censorship are over. Stephanie White knows it, the fans know it, and eventually, Portland will have to accept it. The Fever are starting to look competitive, but the road is long. They have to integrate new players, fix chemistry, and ignore the noise. Fans are watching every move, ready to call out any mistakes. This is what a real sports culture looks like. It's messy and full of passion. Portland needs to stop trying to polish their image and start embracing the reality of modern sports. It's time for the league to set standards for how teams treat the public. You cannot block fans based on who they support. It's unprofessional and bad for business. If Portland wants to be here, they have to play by the rules, and that means letting fans have a voice. The era of protected front offices is over. Welcome to the real world, where the fans decide who wins or loses. Stephanie White being shocked is the only logical reaction. As a coach, she knows fans are the lifeblood of the game. To see them pushed away is a betrayal of what sports are about. The Fever are trying to grow, but they are being held back by a league that seems to sabotage itself. Whether it's weird social media rules or bad management, the hurdles keep coming. But the fans are the constant, and they won't let this league fail. Eventually, Portland will have to answer for this. You can't hide forever. Soon, they'll have to play the game, and the fans they tried to silence will be there, louder than ever. This league will grow because the fans refuse to be ignored. Stay subscribed and keep following the truth, because this is just the beginning. The league needs a thicker skin, and the fans are going to keep bringing the heat.